Okay, welcome to the episode before emergence. Now, before I get started, I want to say this. I'm going to try and condense this down because I don't want to have to spend too long in this room. This room I'm in is very hot and it's not comfortable, and I want to get out of here as quickly as possible. So, I'm probably going to make this a very short video if I can. I'm going to say this. Production wise, Impact Wrestling gave us a decent show. Sound was okay. Camera work was okay. Lighting was okay. The one thing that wasn't okay was the crowd. I don't know what it is with those damn fans. They sounded like if they were living with me in this apartment, which is hot. Look, my apartment has no air conditioning. It's a very old building. I can't afford the AC. The bill in here is high. So it's like 80 something in my room, even with the fan on. And I can tell you this. They're like in here hot and tired because they barely cheered or booed throughout the entire show. I don't know what it is. This is not the first time Impact has had a dud of a crowd. They've been doing that a lot lately. Very rarely they get a good crowd. So I don't know. They need to do something. They need to go somewhere and they need to make these crowds interested. I'm just saying. First match, Kenny King versus Carl Anderson. Now, I actually did try to film this earlier and I glitched. I messed up and it pissed me off. But as I said in the previous video, when I look at Carl Anderson and I look at Kenny King, there's nothing wrong. Their match was fine. The camera work was very functional. It was fine. I didn't pay attention to it because there wasn't no super zoom ins or quick cuts, heavy cuts. It was cut, a little bit of zoom, stayed focused, was fine. And that mostly was through the show, even though they did have errors. But when I look at this, and yes, Carl did win even though he was hurt. I don't feel right when it comes to Bullet Club and Honor No More. You know why? Because of the rumors of Honor No More breaking up, that people are going to be leaving. And as I said earlier in a previous video, the way they book in Impact Wrestling is not much different than like AEW. They got people coming in for tapings, no problem, like for Dark Elevation, or for the regular shows, counting if they allow it. Then they got some people that may stay for 6 months. That's Impact. I think there's 3 months for AEW, 6 months for AEW, and a year. So Impact does possibly 6 months and a year, and then the really important people get the multiple year contracts. The problem here is that I feel nothing for Honor No More for the last 8 months because they never booked them like they meant something. They booked them like, well, we're going to have them around for a couple of months. And let's just book them enough that they're not so over that when they leave, we'll get screwed. Because that has happened a lot with Impact Wrestling. And that's what I'm getting here. I'm not saying that everyone there is not trying. I like PCO. I honestly do. But when I see the situation, it's like I can't, I feel irked. That's just me. Guys, tell me below. Tell me in your comments, do you feel like Honor No More really got anywhere? Because if they've been there for 8 months and we knew, Impact knew they're only going to have a contract for 6 to 8 months, why do you care? Yeah, maybe PCO will stay. Maybe Kenny King may stay. I don't know. Maybe Vincent will go. We know that Maria is going to leave. She's going to AEW. I don't know if Mike Bennett's going to leave. Maybe he will with Matt Taman. He probably will. So you guys tell me below. Now, next match. Violent by Design. Diener versus Kushida. And it was a fun match. It was all right. Kushida won by pretty much making him tap. Here's the thing. Kushida working with Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, I'm fine with because he knows them. Time Splitters was a team with him and Shelley. No problem. The only thing I'm hoping is that if Kushida stays longer than a few months, let Alex Shelley, well, I'm hoping not Alex Shelley, let Chris Sabin be his mouthpiece because I've said this for years. When it comes to Japanese wrestlers, they don't get booked right. They never do. Now, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. You guys tell me below. For anyone who knows Japanese wrestling, unlike American wrestling or maybe Canadian wrestling, where they do 6 months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months booking, and then they'll have a payout. In wrestling in Japan, they do a lot of more in-ring wrestling to compensate for their stories that I believe they do have stories, guys. Don't think they don't. but they do them in multiple years sometimes. They do very long booking, and they do little things in between those extremely long bookings that could take a year or two to go through. We don't get that in America often. So when a lot of Japanese wrestlers, male or female, translate to America, that doesn't work right because the people who book them or the wrestlers themselves think, well, they got to get over with only their wrestling, and they don't know how to book them multiple months. Maybe they think they can't handle multiple months. Or the wrestlers themselves think, I'm used to multiple years. Something's always lost in translation, and it sucks. I still believe that there is a way to book these Japanese wrestlers in American style of booking. They just need to be willing to, hopefully, say, hey, don't worry about your language barrier. We will find someone to help you. We will get a translator. This is how we're going to book you. They book using some aspects of Japanese history and culture and American know-how. They can do it. I really do believe it, but I just don't see it. So having Shelley and Sabin as his partners there, counting how long he stays, hopefully will help. Now, let's get this over with. I am so like, why? I was going to use the title, Why Here? Because this is the first of the two stupidest things they've done in Impact. You got Tiffany Nivens, I think her name is Nivens, versus Killer Kelly. Why? Why here? One day before frickin' Emergence. Remember when I was talking about Marsha Slamovich? Why is Marsha important? Tell me. Leave a comment below. You say, oh, she's been on a winning streak. She's never lost. Well, if she's that important, that special, why hasn't she had a match on any of the Impact Plus shows? It's not the point that is the Impact Plus shows. It's their monthly shows. They show people and they try to bring in storylines with it now. Why didn't Marsha ever have anything? Well, guess what? They didn't have anything for her because she was floating. They had nothing to do with her. They didn't have nothing for her, and they didn't know what to do with her. Now they just did it with Killer Kelly. You just brought in a woman that was more interesting than Marsha Slamovich, and instead of waiting to the next show, which is tomorrow, someone a week or two ago said, we need to get her on the show. We can't just put her on Impact Plus. Let's have her debut one day before Emergence, which was the stupidest thing you could do. You should have left her. I know they pre-taped this. You don't have to tell me. But someone a week or two ago decided in creative, instead of letting Killer Kelly debut on an Impact Plus show and sponsor the hell out of her, we get this. And she destroys Tiffany Nevins. There was no point in it. This was stupid. It was like Marsha Slamovich all over again. And now I don't care. Now, if she has a match on the next Impact Plus show, it better be good. I'll care then. But here, this was dumb. Next, the probable, maybe, last match of Madison Rayne. We know Madison has aired already on Dynamite. It happened. We saw her. Last week, we saw her on Rampage. This week, we saw on Dynamite. So she's not there now. She's currently working as a trainer and being part of creative, I believe, of AEW. So, I don't know if they're going to let her go back to the Impact Wrestling. I don't think so. But she's now done. So this is probably the last match we'll ever see of Madison Rayne for a while, if she ever goes back. And what was the match with Mia Yim? Was it good? I'll say this. I know Mia Yim can do a good match. I know Madison Rayne can do a good match when she's a heel. When she's a face, it's not that great. And in this situation with Madison Rayne, she wasn't a face, but she wasn't a heel either. She just was a wrestler. She felt generic. Now, I know people would say, well, of course she's never great. But it's not the point of you thinking she's never great. We know she's done good matches. We know she's done bad matches. Here, it felt like, you know what, this is my last match. I'll just phone it in. And that's kind of what I felt here. In the very beginnings to the middle of that match, it felt like it was phoned in for Madison Rayne. And I think Mia Yim realized that, and she wasn't exactly too happy with it because a couple of times you could see like they kind of worked together, but then not. Now, mind you, I'm not hating the match, and the fans finally did start cheering for them because the fans were almost on their hands. I don't know what it is with Impact and the fans. They need to hype these fans up better. They are not getting hyped up. I don't know. But that's just me, guys, from below. In the end, Mia Yim won. Of course, she had to win. She's going up against Jordynne Grace, and Jordynne Grace did have her moment with her after the match was over. A little bit of banter between them. Fine. But now that Madison Rayne is gone, what does this mean for Impact Wrestling? I don't know. Maybe Tenille will come back. I don't know if Tenille Dashwood is still working for Impact, if she's been rehired, or if she's going to do more tapings. I don't know. I just know that Tenille's not there. Now Madison is gone. Soon we're going to have Maria Kanellis. Well, she hasn't been wrestling, but Maria's going as well. So you're not going to have that many women on there. Now, Tiffany Evans, even though she's an OVW, maybe she will go to Impact. That would be a nice adding of them because they need more women, counting if they're going to make her just do tapings or maybe do a 6-month deal. You never know with Impact. I don't know. Now, the second match of the show that I'm going like, why here? Why? Who was the idiot that decided to do this a week or two ago? That they decided to tape this and have Speedball Mike Bailey go up against Rocky Romero. I'm botching here. I'm getting angry. When I get angry, I botch. Rocky Romero pissed me off because why? He gets a title shot here where the next day we get another title shot with, who was it? Jake Evans, who couldn't go before because he got sick. That's one of the reasons why we're having it now with Jake Evans, because Jake Evans was sick. Now he's getting a second shot at it. But I'm now botching Rocky Romero's name. I'm so angry that this happened here. What was the point? Why would you do a double? Why do it? Why would you tape something like this, one that would air one day before Emergence? It makes you think that this is dumb. It also makes you think there's no way Jack Evans is going to win because Rocky Romero, I keep botching his name, why am I botching Rocky Romero? Maybe it's because I don't speak Spanish. Maybe because I'm so angry right now, I'm messing my words up. I'm just angry. It's stupid. They should have never did this. They could have set something up in the back, some promo segment, something where Rocky is going to say pretty much, look, he sees Speedball and he says, look, I hope your match in Emergence is great, but after that, I'm coming for you. I want that match. Fine. Another week or two from now, he could get a shot. Or better yet, if they could get him back again in the next Impact Plus show, let him have a match on Impact Plus. Rocky Romero versus a Speedball Mike Bailey. And I got it right this time. Damn it. Let's move on. The final thing to talk about, which was the best thing, the contract signing between Josh Alexander and Alex Shelley. I know not everyone's going to like it. I'm sure many people are going to say, I just don't like... there's people I know that does not like Josh. And I'm sure there's people who really don't like Alex that much either. But I'm going to say this. The talk here was actually quite good, and most of it was actual real life. Made it very clear with Josh. In 2005, he saw his first match of Impact, which is TNA. And one of the people there was Alex Shelley. He was inspired. But he was already considering going into pro wrestling himself. So the day after he saw Alex Shelley and probably Chris Sabin and anybody else, he went directly into wrestling school. So for him, this is not a joke. He's already decided to become a wrestler because of the influence of people just like Alex Shelley. And he said through the years, because he's been around maybe 17 years, 16, 17 years, he said, I have gone through all the Alex Shelley wannabes, and I beat them. It is going to be an honor to go up against a real one, which I'm going to beat too. But here's where it gets interesting when it came to Alex Shelley. He made it very clear. He's not like most guys. He's not a heel. but he's not a betweener. Well, let me give it to you like this. Here's a heel. Here's a face. Here's a betweener. He's somewhere around here. Here's your heel. Here's your face. Here's in between. He kind of leans somewhere around here. A little more to the heel side, but not totally there. That's one of the things I've noticed at Alex Shelley. He's still a good guy, but when it's time to act a little heelish, he's got no problem doing it. So he made it very clear. When it came to his partner, who he's his best friends with, he's already torn his ACL 3 times. He already messed himself up. By the time he's 60, he's going to have to get knee replacements flat out. He said to him, you already had a fusion in your neck. You already got several other injuries on top of that. And when we get in that ring, I'm going to make you understand who I am. Because I'm not like you. I'm not like Chris. I'm me. There's a reason why I'm special. There's a reason why I've only had now, and there's been no shots, 0. This is me. You're going to find out when you see me in that ring. This is like 2005. You will become a damn Mark all over again because I'm going to whoop your ass and be doing it great. He doesn't say it like that, but that's what he implied. And in the end, when it was all said and done, where most people would, you know how it's always, would heel and face. And guess what? Josh tried to act more heelish than he acted like babyface. So you could say Josh Alexander is the heel while Alex Shelley is the babyface in this moment. But when it came to Alex, he really made it very clear. I'm not going to be like everybody else. I'm not going to fight with you. I'm going to sign this, which he did. He turned it around, fixed it, put it back to him. And he said, I'm going to see you in the ring and I'm going to take you out. And then he puts down the mic and he walks away. He doesn't start a fight. He just makes it clear. I'm not here to play. I'm here to do the business, which he is, which is a great thing. Now, this is where it's going to get very interesting. And this is going to be probably the only spoiler, well, not spoiler, but preview I want to do when it comes to this particular match. I don't know how to feel because I want Alex Shelley to win, something different. But will he win? I don't think so. Now, I hope I'm wrong. And they do let Alex have the title going into Bound for Glory. Because I don't think he's going to get the X Division title. And I don't think if he does lose this, he will get option C. I don't see him doing this. I don't see them giving the option C to Alex. I just don't. Now, if they did, that'd be great. But knowing how Impact books, I don't see it happening. I don't see them happening to give Alex Shelley another shot using option C. I just don't. Now, will it happen? Will there be an option C after this? Probably there will be. I don't know who's going to be the champ. Speedball might still be champion, but I don't know. But I'm worried about Alex Shelley. The person that I want to win is Shelley. Because this will be something entirely different from Impact. I know most people say no. Look, we have an original Impact wrestler / TNA. The guy's been there when they opened the damn door. We know this roughly. Yes, it was a couple of years later, but he is known as an original. He's been back and forth for over, more than a decade and a half. Way more than that. So seeing someone that has never got the world title shot, ever, this will be different. This will be a turning point, hopefully for Impact, even though it won't be. But it will be something different that they're letting an older wrestler who's never gotten the option, who's considered the heart and soul of the company, well, at least one of the heart and soul, is finally getting this shot and wins. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know what they'll do, but hopefully it will end well. But this is just my point of view. And please give me a comment below. Have a good day. Have a good night. I am sweating bullets in here. If you haven't seen me sweating, see the sweat. Peace.